To solidify this challenge, may I invite you into my favorite world, the world of music. Are any of you musicians? What do you do? Drums. That's not a musician. You just beat stuff, man. Come on, man. I'm just kidding you. We need drummers. Yeah, we need percussion. He's like, yeah, I'm going to beat you. When people ask you how many notes are there in music, you don't have to be a musician. We can always revert back to our childhood songs. We can figure it out with the little do, re, mi. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Most would respond there are 7 notes in music. Contraire, mon frère. In the year 1685, a very famous music composer in Western Europe decides he wants more options. He's the guy that put the black keys on the piano. There are 12 notes in music, 7 white keys, 5 black keys, a total of 12 notes. Those 12 notes duplicate themselves every 12 notes. It's what we call an octave. How does that relate to you, especially? How does that relate to me, to all of us? Every single song ever written was written with the exact same 12 notes. Do you know that? In every one of our languages, every song written was written with the same 12 notes. The only difference between one song and another song is the order in which those 12 notes fall and the timing and spacing in between the notes. I wish I had a boombox up here on stage. I could put on a magnificent display to make my point from the world of music. We could play a Rachmaninoff piano concerto using all 88 keys on the piano. We could play a little Wynton Marsalis smooth jazz. I'm a rhythm and blues guitar player. We could play a little Stevie Ray Vaughan, a little B.B. King. We could play a country ballad like My Wife Ran Off with My Best Friend and I'm Going to Miss Him Dearly. Are any of you into country music? I'm a country songwriter. I go to Nashville about every 6 weeks. I got some hits. Had I shot you when I met you, I'd be out of jail by now. Are you with me on this one, baby? What's my point? Every single one of these songs in all 4 genres was written with the same 12 notes. So here's the question of the day, my friends. This is what makes us different inside this ballroom versus those outside in the worlds in which we reside who are caught up in minimum requirement mediocrity. The question of every day must be, what's the difference between a hit songwriter and a lousy songwriter? They have access to the same 12 notes. What's the difference between a great banker and a lousy banker? They have access to the same interest rates and the same economy. I drive 45 minutes one way to bank, and never once have I ever asked what the interest rates are on my loans. It's about a relationship with Dave Alexander, whom I trust implicitly. It's not about convenience. If money becomes the topic of conversation, it means the presentation is weak and the relationship is non-existent. How dare us talk about money, which is the lowest common denominator? I don't give a rat's wackazoodle how much anything costs if I have an opportunity to learn from you and inspire at the deepest level so that when we leave saying, I like me best when I'm with you. I want to see you again. What's the difference between a great parent and a lousy parent? Any of you have teenagers? Those years where it's all we can do to let our parents live at our house. Are you having this brain damage? Try to introduce a word like curfew to our teenagers. What do they say? Come on, Mom, lighten up. You want me home by midnight? My friends get to stay out till Saturday. And we try to teach them and they see right through us. Growing up, my dad used to always tell my sister, you cannot go out with a guy who drives a van. One time this guy pulls up in a van. My dad's looking out the window. Debbie, you can't go out with him. He's driving a van. My mom says, why? You used to drive a van. My dad said, that's what I mean. You cannot go out with a guy who drives a van. Full circle. What's the difference between a hit songwriter and a lousy songwriter? What's the difference between a great distributor and a lousy distributor? What's the difference between a crown elite, guru, bad hunk of burning love, whatever you got, whatever your title is, and a wannabe? Answer's the same. The difference between a hit songwriter and a lousy songwriter, passion, creativity, and imagination. For over 2 decades, we've been force-fed, you got to think outside the lines. You got to think outside the box. What if the answers are still in the box? Most people come to meetings, come in search of the new answers. Give me the secret sauce. I want to take copious notes. Give me some pixie dust. What's the secret? When in reality, don't you think we ought to come in search of the right answers? And the right answers have always been right, or we can't call them right. To make my point on stretch, let me introduce you to my world of songwriting. I had my first gold record in country music with a guy by the name of Michael Peterson. Wrote the song, Drink, Swear, Steal, and Lie. I'm an inspirational genius. Teamed up with a great songwriter, Don Schlitz. He wrote You Say It Best When You Say Nothing at All. That's a good song. He wrote The Gambler for Kenny Rogers. He and I teamed up, gave him the story, put a magnificent melody to it, put Kenny Rogers back on the charts. Little boy in his baseball hat stands in a field with his ball and bat. He says, I'm the greatest. He throws his ball up, swings, misses strike one, throws his ball up, swings, misses strike two, throws his ball up, swings, misses strike three. He's out. What does he say? Man, am I a good pitcher. That's a good song. My best love song I've written so far, it's called Real Man. Visualize Faith Hill singing it, not me. I need a man who knows happily ever after is a day at a time proposition. A man who knows making love is not a 3-minute composition. It's a slow dance full of romance, a walk on the beach in the sand. It's having a whole conversation just by holding my hand. He would stir deep desire that sets me on fire to be with them all that I can. No, I won't settle for anything less than a real man. Chorus. A real man strong in stature, firm in faith, and kisses slow. He sometimes cries, and when we hug, he's the last one to let go. Worshiping the ground I walk on, he's my biggest fan. There's nothing like being loved by a real man. Most of you women are looking at me like, like these ladies right here, you're looking at me like, do you mind if we smoke? Like right here, you're like, oh, Dan. Oh, Dan, could you repeat that one chorus part? Oh, yeah. And most of you gentlemen are looking at me like, oh, perfect. I was interviewed on country radio in Nashville, and they said, how does a linebacker write a song like that? I said it was easy. I made a list of things I wasn't, and I decided I could become them. Not because it's expected by others, but because it's demanded of myself. Dreams for sale, stretching from the inside out, hanging around with the right people who will trigger more passion, creativity, and imagination. That's what's going to grow this company. It's what's going to grow your personal business. It's what's going to grow your downline, and it's what's going to allow you to make your financial dreams come true because you're not focusing in on them. You're focusing in on making a difference and leaving people in better shape than you found them.